all my like things I normally worry about out the window there. I was like, simplicity. I was like, screw it, we'll be a little complex, you know. And then on the other end, it's like I'm very, you know, fast. I was like, let's slow it down, let's build some characters.
Yeah.
That's what people say they want. And they worked. And everyone's like, those are the two reasons we love that video.
This was MrBeast back in 2023. And now, when you look at his content again, yeah, that supposed storytelling is gone. The biggest non-corporate, initially, creator on the platform, MrBeast, loves to say storytelling is important when he goes onto podcasts and is asked to give advice. But if you take a look at his content, you're bound to ask, where is it? Let me, a hobbyist writer, break down MrBeast's supposed storytelling in his videos.
For honestly answering all our prayers, because this is something amazing for me.
What are my credentials? Some of you might ask. Well, like I've said, I am a hobbyist writer. I have written fanfics. I have actually written an entire novel with way too many words and way too weird of a pacing. I think the length is more than enough to cover for a standard novel. But like I've said, a hobbyist. Moving back on topic, if you don't know MrBeast's content, you could easily break it completely down to challenges. Get through it or be the last man standing, you win. And that's about it. Then, why did his content get as popular as it did? Well, besides the fact that he makes good on his promise of actually giving out that much money or the high price object, like a literal house, nowadays he's the most well known for a specific type of editing and pacing. And that specific type of editing and pacing that makes us call the YouTubers who do it, MrBeastification. Okay, just a quick clarification. There are two types of MrBeastification. At first, it used to just mean that YouTubers who were just one-for-one copying his video ideas, even parts of the video itself. But later, it started to mean that specific type of editing and pacing style that MrBeast uses and popularized. For example, let's take a look at Joshua Weissman, a cooking YouTuber who in recent years has basically changed the content that he does for his channel. This is his most current video at the time of the script. I tried every viral restaurant in America. This is how YouTubers who make MrBeastification content makes intros.
The food influencers might be lying to us all. In fact, some of them get paid just to say good things about a restaurant. These people are going viral making claims that this is the best burger, taco, pizza, and their only validation, well, they got millions of views and likes. So how can we trust these places are actually good and worth waiting 4 hours in line just to eat? So we're eating at every most viral restaurant across America, from $70 pizzas to Wagyu Philly cheesesteak and even shawarma that makes lines like it's Disneyland. Are these people showing us the best food on earth, or is this just fake content made for clicks? And it all
Besides the consistent boom noise in the background, it sounds like a variant of wine boom. There are also constant cuts, constant sound effects, and things going on screen. And also, this entire part is only 30 seconds long. And YouTubers who make MrBeastification content prioritizes those 30 seconds as their intro. Then, after 30 seconds, they go to the body of the video. So just a quick reminder, any form of writing that's structured properly basically has an intro, the body of contents, then the conclusions. And the intro and the conclusions are typically the shortest parts. Another marker of a YouTuber doing MrBeastification content is the amount of cuts they have in a video. Let me again play the first 30 seconds and put up a counter on screen. There. I'm not extremely knowledgeable in this department, so I might get it wrong.
The food influencers might be lying to us all. In fact, some of them get paid just to say good things about a restaurant. These people are going viral making claims that this is the best burger, taco, pizza, and their only validation, well, they got millions of views and likes. So how can we trust these places are actually good and worth waiting 4 hours in line just to eat? So we're eating at every most viral restaurant across America, from $70 pizzas to Wagyu Philly cheesesteak and even shawarma that makes lines like it's Disneyland. Are these people showing us the best food on earth, or is this just fake content made for clicks?
15 total. So that's about one cut every 2 seconds, which is extremely fast. But fast-paced editing is part of their content, and it is important for them to make sure that the viewer will be stuck to the video. And yes, there might be one or two that can't be counted as cuts since it's a zoom out, but I'm counting it. Also, he really likes to use the sound effect.
Buddy salt tank isified. There's another.
Can you please stop using it? I'm begging you, just pick another boom sound. Alright, now that you have a taste of what MrBeastification content is like, let's go take a look back at MrBeast himself. And by looking at his newest video, 50 YouTube legends fight for $1 million. Oh, hi Rice Scum. What are you doing here? Did everyone forget about what he did?
Where the hose at? Don't be awkward, bro. Yeah, so we're in China. I'm eating this ice cream, but like I don't want it anymore. It's like I'm full, so like I don't want to waste it. So like, I'm gonna just try to give it to someone out here that might need it. You know, like I'm always about that positivity. Hey, can you eat this for my friend? Please, please, please. For you. Eat it. Yeah.
Anyways, MrBeast's videos, especially if they involve a large group of people, follow the same kind of formula. Everyone is placed into a challenge, and with every challenge, more and more people get eliminated. Simple, easy to understand. To be honest, I could understand the appeal of MrBeast's content, and even I myself had already watched almost 15 minutes of it just going through the video itself for research. What I'm about to say is something that you might have heard of before, but let me just say it again. Let's view his video as a plot of a story. The story starts with an introduction, and then he introduced the stakes. After that, he introduced the first challenge. The challenge started, then showed the climax of the challenge, and ending with the conclusion of the challenge. There is a short rest before the next rotation starts, from this point. Same thing over and over, and changing it ever so slightly by upping the difficulty of the challenges. It's a format that works very well, hence why you see it in every video he has made. That in itself isn't a problem, even if, yes, the challenges themselves aren't really the most interesting or challenging, but because he's very good at holding the audience's attention. It's something that you would only think about until you decide to look back and go through what you just watched. Like this video I used as an example. The first one is guessing which Lambo is a cake, which has some difficulty. The next is bottle flip, which is on an easier difficulty. The one following up is floor is lava with 3 people, which is the most difficult. And the last one is building a Minecraft house. This one has to depend on if the person is good at building with blocks or not. Of course, this video is used to commemorate his 500 million subs, and these challenges are basically representing the platform and its huge trends over the years. But all of it is still relatively low stakes if there weren't as much money involved. So it does sound like the whole plot of the story is fine, right? I mean, yeah, it might be a bit childish, but it works. It has worked extremely well for him. So what's the issue? Well, the plot and the entire outline of the story is fine, but what about the characters involved in it? Any story needs a main character. It doesn't just mean one person, it could be 2 or even a group of people. But basically, they are the perspective that we, the audience, follows along and view the world through. And the general issue with MrBeast's content nowadays is that he hardly characterizes the people involved in his videos. I use the word characterize only because I'm speaking from a writer's point of view. What I mean in this context is who they are. It could be where they are from, the way they speak, their point of view, the way they act towards a specific situation, things like that. But it's what MrBeast participants lack. For example, survive 30 days on an island with your ex, win $250,000. The premise of this challenge is in the name of the video, although MrBeast does say that the actual challenge is winning her back, but like, when anything involves money, please don't expect anyone to act sincerely.
The point of this experiment isn't survival. It's to win Ashley over and convince her you can be trusted.
Anyways, I didn't manage to watch all of it because I got bored. Of course, not every YouTuber can consistently put out good videos. See the previous 2 of mine before this one. But this video exemplifies my issue with his content nowadays. As in, we know who these people are, but we also don't know much about them either. I know that it sounds weird, but let me explain. Generally, the way characterization works in stories is that the writer will put labels on their character. This is generally only for initial introductions, since it's the fastest way and easiest way to introduce someone to the reader. In the context of videos, it's more towards the way your videos are presented, the way you speak, and your content that your audience gets a general vibe of who you are. And that starts to build that connection you're looking for. Though personal relationships are used in a negative context, in truth it's actually more of a neutral term. But the issue with MrBeast contestants is that they are just there. Okay, going back to this video about surviving with your ex, I can see what they are going for. They were basically going for, I guess Hell's Paradise would be right. I don't know the name of the show. Editor me, correct me please. To be fair, I don't watch any reality TV shows like at all. I just listen to people talk about it, never watch an episode fully myself. But what makes reality TV or these types of videos that naturally would have conflict interesting is the people involved in it. And to make audiences have that interest, the foundation to that interest comes from them caring about the people in it. In general, his content is 30-ish minutes long. Sometimes it's only 20 and sometimes it's just 20 plus. But those of his videos that are longer usually involve more people or more time is spent doing the challenge. And for this case, it's condensing 30 days of content into 30 plus minutes. Do you now see the problem? The first 5 days are condensed down to a minute plus. That's literally not enough time for us to care about literally anyone since they barely introduce any of them. And all we see in the 5-day montage is some interactions between the participants. What can we defer from the guy she had chosen to eliminate on day 5? He just sounds like he's happy to leave. MrBeast's voiceover hints at some drama going on, but because it doesn't really have any follow-up, so you just forget about it, and with the fast-paced editing, with everything requiring every second of your attention, you forget about it faster.
We're playing hard to get.
Do you actually love me or what?
No, you're too old for me.
Jake, shut up.
Which might not have been the best strategy.
It's a bit easier to develop the remaining people when there's not much of them left. But when it comes to that point, the video would basically be over. The worst of these would have to be any challenges involving a large number of people. When let's say there are 50 people involved in a video and you eliminate like 1/3 of them in the first game, there literally isn't any space for any kind of meaningful introductions for viewers who do not know who these people are. Why would they care who wins? I mean, for this video, there are a lot of people that I recognize, but like there are also quite a few that I don't as well. Jimmy only introduces like very few of them, and the rest I just know because of drama YouTube or that I interact with their genre and I know exactly who they are. Sure, there is a show of those involved here, but it scrolls by so quickly that unless you slow down, you won't be able to know everyone that is there. And reminder, there are 50 people here even when it doesn't feel like it, and we barely get to see like half of them by the time the second game ends. So again, I ask, why would the viewer care about who wins? MrBeast really wants to be like reality TV for YouTube. I mean, from the cuts, the music, the sound effects, the sets, and even the way his videos are formatted. But he just doesn't hit the same points for drama and intrigue and emotional investment like reality TV would. I always wondered what his content was since at some point it started to feel a bit familiar to me until Flazefire, in his video about MrBeast, mentioned reality TV, and that is exactly what his content has turned into. Although if you actually want to watch what actually happens when he makes a game show, well, Beast Games is on Prime Video. There are 2 seasons. If you don't want to watch any of it, you can watch Dan Olsen, who runs the 14 Ideas channel, on his review on the show. It's a very long video, but it's very comprehensive. There are also interesting things that he had said during this other video he made about his trip to Beast Studios. You can watch that as well as he points out a more invisible issue with MrBeast. I won't critique it since I haven't watched it and for some reason I just don't want to be subscribed to Prime Video. Anyways, due to the sheer lack of any characterization for the people that are involved in his videos, you frequently don't really feel much for them. Even if let's say that they get eliminated, you don't really feel sad or anything. You don't even get the exhilarating feeling if they win. It's just like, oh, they won, good for them. Even for his videos where he doesn't involve someone else, like his recent video of 7 days stranded in the Arctic, it's a bit less human feeling and a lot of it feels quite corporate. Not like the very interesting corporate, just the meh corporate. But since it's only 7 days, well, even if it doesn't feel entirely like him and the boys again, the charm is still there somewhat. It does feel much more engaging to watch him and the boys go through the challenges since we have more time to be invested in them. But even then, it just doesn't feel quite right.
Let's go see if we can catch some fish. Good luck. Later, boys. Hey, Nolan, take care of Chandler.
We'll work on the shelter.
Guys, be safe. Don't. Really good. This cheese is $500. That's pretty good.
Oh gosh, I'm excited.
Oh my god.
This is really good.
It takes time to build up that parasocial relation that makes the viewer care about whether or not these people win the challenge. However, generally speaking, for his YouTube videos, he simply doesn't have the time to develop anyone into anything. There will be exceptions where that will be because they came back or there's an entire challenge that only involves very few people. But even then, they aren't really the focus. In recent years, he has shifted his content more and more to focus on the challenges. Sure, even this clip of him from 2023 had talked about developing people and making them the focus, but the people involved had never been the true focus of his videos. Back then, like 6 years ago, it was still there. The people involved always makes up the 1/3 of the entertainment of Jimmy's videos, besides him and the boys and the editing. But now it's more and more the editing and the challenges. So the issue with that is after the video is over, you don't really feel anything. Like this person won at the end and cool, congrats, you move on with your life. The other issue arises is because it's so challenge centric that unless there is something interesting about the challenge itself, otherwise you have no reason to watch the video twice. The only other reason would be if it especially involves someone that you like for this video. Every MrBeast video does deliver the promise of the title and the challenge itself, but you won't remember anyone in particular that's involved in these challenges. Unless they do something that terribly annoys you, like Rakai in the 50 streamers fight for $1 million, they just aren't memorable. Which is why I nowadays would call his content peak slop entertainment. It is very good at entertaining you, but he's not very good at making you remember him and his actual content, which brings me to... Now, let me explain why I call it peak slop entertainment. Slop in this case is not low effort, but more towards the mass-produced side of slop. I doubt MrBeast will see this video, but he has probably seen a lot of these videos, so I won't take back any of my comments. Also, I barely even have 1,000 subs, and I don't think that this video will get that popular. But anyways, moving back on topic, if you actually stop and think about his content and choose to examine it, you would soon come to realize that there is nothing there. Not that the reality TV that his content mimics has much depth, but I suppose that depends on which one because there is so many of them out there. Though their content is still memorable, the people that are involved in them will stick around in your memory for a while. The same cannot be said for people who have been on MrBeast's content. But moving away from that, I want you to re-examine the labels we have always placed on MrBeast. What have we always labeled him as his content as? A retention machine, high quality production, spending large amounts of money on his videos. His content is attractive to everyone. But we have never once talked about the actual contents of his content. Back then, again, before this version of Jimmy, if you have asked me what about his content that attracted people, well, I would say that besides him spending a huge amount of money on each one, it feels like he genuinely likes the content that he's making, that we sometimes watch for the interaction that he and the boys have. It feels human, even when it's actually quite well produced. And even when his challenges, honestly speaking, weren't anything like too thrilling or too groundbreaking, just these human touches make you keep watching. Because these people that are involved in this content feel like people. Interesting and kind of weird people.
Build a perimeter.
Side by side vertically.
And then set one on top.
We have crossed the line. You can put it down. You put these large boxes, you filled it to the brim in the middle, and you still have over half the store left. Where do you go from here? Up.
But nowadays, everyone involved in his content just feels like a prop. And his content has shifted heavily to focus on the challenges instead of the people involved in them. So he's basically showing off the weakest link of his content. He has never been good at coming up with challenging and interesting challenges. The reason why this has never been an issue is, like I mentioned earlier, he is very good at holding your attention. But that maintaining attention thing fails if you look at Beast games. And Beast games especially showcase that extremely weak link when it comes to the challenges that the contestants go through. Again, see this video for more. And all of this makes his content feel emptier than it ever has been. We all know that at some point he started to obsess over metrics like CTR, AVT, retention rates and stuff. Though it's not helped by YouTube literally shoving it right at their creator's face, but his obsession with these metrics means that he had ignored a very integral part of his videos, the people involved, and that he needed to cram everything into one 30-minute video. Even if, by concept, the video would have benefited if he had chosen to stretch it out for longer, since there were clearly some missed opportunities for seeing interactions. But since it's about making sure the numbers go up and stay there, he sacrifices a lot. So, when the human element that could have hidden his weakness is gone, you would see the weakness a lot clearly. It's not that you can't do simple challenges. He used to do that, and it worked out extremely well for him. The reason being is that, again, it's the people involved. Let me just put it like this. Imagine this box as a structure of a game, and these little dots as participants of the game. What would you think is what the audience wants to see? They want to see the complexities of the game? They want to see who is involved? What the audience actually wants to see is how the participants interact with the game. Would they play by the rules? Would they try to get around the rules? Or would they just break it entirely just because they could? The actual intrigue and interest in watching a game being played is the way people interact with it, with an already predetermined structure. Which is why videos like these two, while indeed they are very simple in concept, which is just fitting objects inside of a red circle or triangle, what is interesting is watching how people interact with the structure. So it doesn't matter what the results are, even if they fail, it's still interesting to see. But as he gets more and more obsessed with these numbers, he seems to have forgotten that what initially had gotten those challenges interesting is the people in it. Not his tightly packed packaging, his fast-paced editing, or even his massive production. It's just the people. And all those sacrifices, they went to pacing and editing, the things that make people stay and watch his content. You know, the thing that makes the numbers go up and stay up. And all of that has made his content feel emptier, feel overproduced, feels meaningless other than a time waster. Why does any of this need this much production? Why should I feel emotionally invested in watching it through? What makes you think that I will actually remember you for quality content instead of a poor attempt at replicating reality TV? And what makes you think I will come back and watch again? His content now feels like a one-time transaction. You click in to watch, but you would never rewatch them again unless you have too much time to waste. There's just nothing memorable about them that makes you want to see it again. But remember what I said earlier about the one part of the other 1/3 that used to make him interesting? Well, let me explain about that. People probably had said this before, but let me just say it out loud. Jimmy is a shit house. I don't actually think that he knows what the actual responsibility of being a host is. So to me, what a good host is that they have to be the one that's leading the participants, that sets the vibe for the entire show or video. They are the one that controls everything that goes on the stage they're on. So they might have to be a hype man, say funny things, or ask interesting questions. But Jimmy doesn't do any of that. Now that I think about it, he's more of a narrator nowadays. Sure, he's there sometimes, but what he does is just introduce the game and the mechanics. He does voiceover, but his voiceover isn't anything thrilling either.
Successfully dug his key out of the sand.
Oh, he wants to win.
But Logan isn't far behind.
Thank you for stating the obvious. And even when the rest of the boys don't really do a good job at being a host, Jimmy has never been an interesting person, at least to me. What used to make him and the boys interesting is the way they bounce off of each other. And nowadays, since they barely do that anymore unless it was a video involving him and the boys, it's more clear than ever that they are shit at being hosts. I can't exactly pinpoint when he and the boys, who are all considered as hosts for his videos, have become entirely separated entities instead of their own small group. And like I mentioned earlier, because they no longer can bounce off of each other, the supposed charm Jimmy and the boys used to have are all gone. Even for this Arctic video, it feels like he has given up so much to the pacing that their interaction feels bare bones. And it makes everything feel even more empty. Besides the smile on his thumbnail, it still unnerves me, by the way. And also, while I was asking Gemini for help on thumbnails, this literally popped up. Damn, Gemini! Anyways, because Jimmy is a bad host and not there most of the time, his involvement in the videos is no longer the reason why people will click in. Whereas back then, some might tune into his videos because they want to see what Jimmy and the boys are up to. Nowadays, people only click in because of the challenges and less of Jimmy himself. His face is still in the thumbnails because of his brand, but honestly, he just feels like a brand now. He isn't Jimmy Dalton, he's MrBeast. If you remove Jimmy from the videos, it would get a lot less views since he's still basically the face of the MrBeast brand and people still tune into him. But if you just replace him with someone else, some of the videos won't feel any different because he's just that forgettable of a host. Actually, some might even do better since they have a lot more pressure to at least try and perform. He doesn't have any charm of charisma, he's just there. A person barely knowing how to do their job even if they have done it for years. Which is impressive, honestly. How do you not improve after years of literally doing it?
Yeah, MrBeast, let's have some fun. Let's get crazy.
All right, let's get crazy. I'll do it.
MrBeast.
The conclusion is that his storytelling no longer exists. Sure, the components are all there, but he's missing the most important human element. And so, even if they are all there, they are just there. He's so stable at releasing these types of content that it's clear that he basically runs his channel like a machine. Considering his growing obsession with AI, it's more and more clear that he wants his channel to be a machine that is very stable at getting views and pumping up content. But what he's currently doing is burning through the connection he has made with his audience. His videos will still be popular, it will still get high views, but if someday that machine suddenly stops and everything he was doing stopped getting views, would he be remembered as someone who is making quality content on the platform? No, he'll just be remembered as the guy who obsessed over numbers, who knew how to game the rules of the game he was playing until he didn't. Almost like Watch Mojo.
I just thought about Watch Mojo.
Whose content used to get tons and tons of views but has since faded out of the public eye. He's becoming more and more like these corporate channels, and he clearly intends on being like them. But he's also going to burn like them eventually. Because it doesn't matter how well made his content is, or how beautiful it looks, when inside of it is just pure emptiness. Why would we still stay around when we could just be watching anything else? What made him well liked in the first place? Despite him burning money, he seemed like he was having fun. The people that he helped, like this pizza delivery guy who has gotten himself a house, the entire process and the entire story just felt good to watch. Like he truly did care about helping out this random person. His content used to feel good to watch. interesting, and even his philanthropy works feel like they came from his heart. He still does philanthropy, he still donates money to good causes, but whether or not he does it because of his ego or because he needs to maintain an image that he's a good person, that's something that we could argue about.
Whatever Jinxie had donated, Logan agreed.
How much did you donate, Jinxie?
Wait,
I donated.
Jinxie, don't tell.
Okay,
Logan,
I'll tell you after.
Wait, Logan, will you donate whatever Jinxie donates?
Why are you smiling? Come on, man. Hey, you're not gonna call him Brogan and back out of that. There's no shot, right?
All right, I'll do it.
Okay.
You donate whatever
Jinxie,
I donate? Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you think I donated if you had to guess?
Couple K, 2K, 3K.
I donated 100,000.
100K? Oh shit. Dude.
Yeah. So you owe 100,000 now, right?
I'll do it.
All right, thank you, Logan.
The man Logan had just publicly called the least liquid person in the room had donated $100,000 to the cause. Logan still matched it eventually, but the damage of the original comment was already sitting there in the room with everyone.
MrBeast most certainly has changed the platform, but whether for better or for worse, that's kind of debatable depending on who you're asking. I'm not saying that high quality content can exist on the platform. There are videos that are very well produced, and while not solo, it feels very interesting to watch, and it has rewatch value. But if you want to do that, at least have something of substance. Because for videos, visuals on screen are also a story you're trying to tell the audience other than your words. They should be working alongside your words, no matter what genre you're in. So, think twice about these fast-paced edits. Is this necessary, or are you simply just trying to chase the numbers? This is Amelia from the Cat is Bored channel, and I talk about whatever I'm interested in at the moment. And I'll see you in the next video.